Hello, hello, Josie here. Are you ready for the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And are you sure? Okay, here we go. So, God wanted me to do a video and basically share some more truth with you about what was done to me by my own parents and siblings. If you did not hear or you did not watch the video on me talking about this, my deceased partner, Mike, who I was with for over 2 decades, he was a pawn, or he was a part of the ruse, a part of the game. I was supposed to receive an inheritance of some sort, money from an insurance policy, an inheritance from my grandmother, or something of that nature back when I was 17, 18 years old. And I actually believe it was prior to that. I believe it was when I turned 17 or 18 years old, I was to get whatever money was left to me. I've talked about, my mother starting this fight or this argument with me, which did not make sense, and basically kicking me out of the house. The reason why they did this, they kept me secluded from a lot of things, a lot of people, places, and things. They didn't want me to have friends. They didn't want me to have relationships. They didn't want me to be even successful really in love and dating, even my adolescent teen years. They didn't want me to date. So everybody that came into my life, they were brought in or came in by my parents, or they were allowed to come in by my parents. So Josh, that's why Josh and I were friends predominantly through high school, was because he was basically allowed to be attached to me to find out information for my parents, so that they knew how to maneuver and how to act and so on and so forth. Me going out to Stephen F. Austin instead of going to Boston University, Boston School of Music, that was also intentional too. They wanted to keep me close by so that they could set up the attacks and so on and so forth, and incorporate a lot of my so-called friends from high school into engaging in certain things to come against me and set up and whatnot. Now, they did not want me to be successful at school. They did not want me to be successful in music. They didn't want me to be successful at all. But predominantly, they wanted to hang on to whatever this inheritance was that was left to me. So if they could get rid of me, if they could take me out or have somebody take me out, or me myself take myself out, which they had already tried to do in junior high, and that did not work. They tried it before, so that's what makes me believe that this money was left to me a long time ago. Like it was left to me intentionally to receive, even prior to turning 18. They were just trying to delay it until they just did not want to let it go. So that's where Mike came in. I was basically guided towards Mike. And Mike was then supposed to basically take me under his wing, or we were going to date, move me in. I was going to move in with him, or I was going to stay in a place that was nearby that he could get to me quickly if and when necessary. But he decided, oh, you might as well just stay with me. That's why our relationship moved fairly quickly, because he was being compensated in some way. And then that's when certain things came into play, certain activities. He owned a porn store, so that was part of it. Wanting me to engage in certain acts with certain people. It was not necessarily him that was going to take me out, but he was going to benefit off of being tied to me, and he was going to get blessings being tied to me or attached to me, and it was going to benefit him to keep me nearby and keep me happy, and the best that he could. But when he was not able to do so in certain areas, he was okay with me going outside of our relationship. He just didn't want to know about it. But he was the one that, in a lot of ways, would orchestrate these things to occur. Whether I acted on them or not, that was really up to me. As far as drugs and stuff of that nature, I was not big on drugs. I smoked marijuana, and I would have a drink every now and again. But how they predicted I would basically take myself out, so to speak, would either be through overeating, weight issues, which would lead to issues with health. So heart attack, high blood pressure, which might take me out, combined with alcohol and or marijuana could possibly be an issue. When I tell you they tried different things, they tried a myriad of different things, and Mike was the closest to me, and my parents were okay with that because they had some kind of control and or they could reach out to Mike and or ask Mike to do certain things or so on and so forth. How did I pick up on this? The first time that my mother, so-called my mother and Mike met, I saw an exchange between their eyes, and Mike was letting him know, was letting her know something. I don't know exactly what it was, but he was letting her know he was communicating to her. And I saw her eyes, just go just widen. And she realized what was going on and or who he was, because I believe that Mike had and or had entities that were working through him. One of them being the devil. So I'm going to leave it at that. Gotta go.